Okay, fourth aliyah and of Vezot Hab'rachah, and we're in verse 18. Now we're continuing with the blessings from Moses Rabbeinu. And to Zebulun, he said, "Rejoice, Zebulun, in your departure, and Yissachar in your tents." Okay, so Zebulun and Yissachar are always seemingly mentioned together because they kind of have like this symbiotic relationship. They will call people to the mountain. There they will offer up righteous sacrifices, for they will be nourished by the abundance of the seas and by the treasures hidden in the sand. Okay, so I'm not really sure what all this means, but Zebulun was supposed to be the merchants going out into the world and bringing home the money, and Issachar was the ones learning the Torah, and I guess they're plumbing the depths of the Talmud as the treasures that's hidden in the sand, because the Talmud's like this big sandbox. So you have to really like look very hard to like understand it and to dig through it. Is that the imagery? But really, everybody learned Torah, and everybody's supposed to learn Torah. So it's doubtful that Zebulun didn't learn Torah. It's just they didn't have as much time because they were the merchants. I mean, was that? I mean, this is like one of these midrashic explanations of the relationship between Zebulun and Reuben, Zebulun and Issachar. But was that really something that actually happened? In actual history, I don't know. Okay, but it is like let's just continue to verse 19. I'm sorry, verse 18 and 19 I read, and verse 20 says, and of God, which is one of the tribes, Gimel Dalid, he said, blessed is he who grants expanse to God. He dwells like a lion, tearing the arm of his prey together with the head. Whoa. Usually we connect the lion with Yehuda because that's mentioned before, and Yehuda's mentioned is like he's like a lion cub, and usually the imagery of the lion is connected to the tribe of Yehuda and not to God. But here we're seeing it connected to this tribe. Okay, so he saw the first portion for himself because there the portion of the lawgiver is hidden. He came at the head of the people. He did what was righteous for the Lord and was lawful with Israel. Not sure what we're referring to here. I don't know what Moses is talking about. I guess you'd have to ask like a rabbi, like to really read the Midrashim to really understand these verses about Gad, because I don't really know what the connection is between these verses and who that person was or what happened in his life, because really we don't know much about his life. Really he's mentioned when he's born, but we don't really hear almost anything. We don't ever hear him speak. So like, and we know that Yaakov gave all his children blessings, and this is like the descendants of that person. Like God died hundreds of years ago, like before this was. Moses Rabbeinu like lived at least 100 years, if not 200 years after Yaakov and all his children were born. I mean, Yaakov's children died when they went down to Egypt, and they were enslaved for at least 200 years, 250 years. So we're not talking about the same person. We're talking about the descendants of these people.